Hi there, my name is Stephen Del Duca and I'm the leader of the Ontario Liberal Party. I'm really excited today to be answering your questions. I want to discuss tackling the disparities between schools in low-income areas and high-income areas. And let me just say that we believe every student in Ontario must have access to the same world-class education no matter where they live. The Ontario Liberal Party will invest an additional $10 billion to build and rebuild our schools, starting with those communities that need that investment the most. Our plan includes investing in hiring 10,000 more teachers so that we can cap class sizes at 20 for every single grade in the province. That means more one-on-one instruction to help you in your studies. Finally, we know that the last 2 years have been difficult for students. You've lost so much over that time, and we want to help. So if elected, an Ontario Liberal government will reintroduce an optional grade 13, giving you the chance to take or retake required courses, as well as some brand new elective courses, and to give you the help that you need to figure out what comes next. The Ontario Liberal Plan for Education treats every student the same, recognizing that there have been some unique challenges facing our students. We're going to work to give every single student in Ontario what they need to succeed. Systemic inequality exists. It's not a debate, and it's critically important to call it out. As leaders, we must do whatever we can to address inequality and eradicate it from our workplaces and from our public institutions like our schools. We know that streaming students into academic and non-academic classes from grade 9 and 10 can limit their futures, and this is even more pronounced amongst students from diverse backgrounds. For those students from marginalized communities, streaming can perpetuate racism and further segregate you. So the Ontario Liberal Party will put an end to that practice. If elected, an Ontario Liberal government will end streaming and will provide teachers with the appropriate tools and additional training to help you, our students, bridge any learning gaps that you have. Secondly, over the last few years, we have seen so many funding cuts to anti-racism programs. These are programs that study the issues of systemic racism, bring them to light, and offer real solutions. We will restore that funding so that we can listen and learn from their work to address racism and discrimination wherever it's found. Ontario Liberals care so deeply about the environment, and we care about ensuring that the world you inherit will be better off than it is today. Lowering carbon emissions like those created by industry and vehicles is a huge part of the Ontario Liberal Plan, and our plan will cut carbon pollution in half by 2030. We're going to get there by asking our largest industrial emitters to do more and by helping everyday families make more sustainable choices. Our plan for Buck a Ride province-wide will help us get there. With our plan, anyone can get on a city bus or a GO train or GO bus or subway, and their fare will only be $1. This act alone will take at least 400,000 cars off our roads as people choose more public transit and choose to leave their cars at home. We're also going to bring back incentives to buy or lease electric vehicles so that when it's time for you to purchase or lease your first car, you're going to have more affordable options for you to go electric. The Ontario Liberal Plan will make sure that no student is prevented from pursuing higher learning because they can't afford it. For the last few years of graduating classes, it's become a lot more expensive to go to college or university because of the Ford Conservatives' cuts to the Ontario Student Assistance Program. Liberals will reverse those cuts and provide more grants that students will never have to pay back and waive post-secondary application fees for students in need. And for all OSAP loans, we'll remove the interest, so students only have to pay back what they actually borrow. Finally, if you're thinking about pursuing a career as an early childhood educator or a personal support worker, if Liberals form the next government, we'll cover all of your tuition. The same goes for medical and nursing students who commit to working in rural and remote communities. Ontario has so much to offer for students who want to pursue their post-secondary education. Liberals will make sure that if you get in, you get to go. 2 years of living under this pandemic has had a dramatic impact on everyone. Students dealing with isolation, forced to learn through screens, parents dealing with the threat of job loss, small business owners forced out of business and forced to lay off their workers. And everyone was worried about their aging parents and grandparents. Look, I know we are strong and resilient in this province, but so many in Ontario are still struggling and need help. The Ontario Liberal Plan will help those small businesses who were hit the hardest by eliminating their corporate taxes for 2 full years. And we're going to help students and teachers recover by hiring 1,000 more mental health workers specifically to work in our schools. We're going to help all Ontario families with affordability, lowering the cost of prepared food, raising the minimum wage, and introducing a living wage with a floor of $16 an hour. Our plan is about choices. We've made the choice to help your teachers, to help your schools, to help you, and to help your parents plan for the future. Ultimately, the choice is with the people of Ontario. So if you're old enough to vote for the first time, you should. But even if you're not, I encourage you to read about the election. Read the party platforms, all of them. Stop by your local candidates' campaign offices and ask them questions. There is a minimum age to vote, of course, but there's no minimum age to be informed about what's at stake in this election. I hope this election can start some conversations between students, your friends, and your families about what's important to you and what you care about. Because ultimately, this responsibility will be yours. And until then, good luck in your studies, work hard, and take care.